Okay.
Hi everybody, how is everybody doing? Welcome to Transgurus for this week. We in the last two times we recorded, so we played record because I was traveling. This week we are back here again in person, and I am so happy. I just had some incredible traveling. Actually, I made a tour around the world once, which is not so bad
Whoa.
in 2 weeks. But I'm back here in the United States and I'm really happy to see everybody. I was in India and because of the, what do you call that, of the problems, the political problems, I could not go back through the Middle East. So I had to go make a little and a really funny tour. Anyway, today we want to talk about something which is called the ultimate upgrade. What we mean by the ultimate upgrade? Transform your life one step at a time or one episode at a time, but transform your life. We are here to become better. So, with those words, who wants to go first? Jimmy, would you like to go first?
Sure, sure. So, welcome everybody. Just to set the stage, uh, I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now.
Nice.
For my exercise today, I walked the shoreline of Fort Lauderdale Beach down to Port Everglades Inlet and back.
Wow.
And so I timed it in such a way that I'm here now at 6 o'clock to be with y'all. So it's cloudy, but it's windy, but it's beautiful. Any view, any ocean view is good with any weather conditions. So the ultimate upgrade. I was thinking about this um, over the last day or two, where you get on an airplane and they offer you an upgrade to like first class, or
Mhm.
you want an upgrade in a hotel room. Well, how can we apply upgrades to our own life? And I think about the experience of the transgender individual. To self-actualize, for a transgender individual to self-actualize as they are, in my opinion, is the ultimate upgrade. It's like the caterpillar can live its life as a caterpillar and probably be content and be, cool with the status quo, not knowing that on the other side of fear, or on the other side of preconceived barriers, is a whole nother existence. As a butterfly, what was relegated to climbing around on twigs and eating leaves and stuff now has transformed itself into a flying, beautiful creation of nature with all kinds of different colors on their wings, and being able to fly around and just all kinds of stuff. And so I think humans, we also have that same, what applies to one thing applies to all things. If a caterpillar can turn into a butterfly, how come I can't turn into a butterfly, figuratively speaking? And
Sure.
so I have, and I am, and I'm going to continue to do so. I recognize that this process has no end, and I make sure that I stay focused on my journey and be patient with myself, always willing to learn and listen. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. How can how can an individual be the benefit of the ultimate upgrade, which isn't given to us by anybody else but ourselves? If we're going to receive the ultimate upgrade, it is a present to ourselves. And the ingredients of that upgrade, everything needed to realize that upgrade, is already in us. Any dream that we have for ourselves, any vision, any any action, any kind of goal, that if we can think it and visualize ourselves from our heart space achieving it, all the ingredients necessary to make that a reality we already have. And one thing I have learned is that sometimes these ingredients necessary to actualize are hidden deep, deep within us, and they're going to stay dormant until the circumstances present themselves that bring the potential to kinetic,
Yeah,
Ella.
absolutely. Yeah. No, I think, believe me, I've had many upgrades for hotels and airplanes in my life.
Yeah.
You're talking not about that. Bobby, it's your turn, girl.
Oh, I love the topic. I'm so glad we want to talk about it because it's so meaningful within the trans community. But before I get started, I just wanted to mention something. I was um, um, looking over some older podcasts that we've done, and I was interested in the ones that had the highest viewership. And there was one that we did on gratitude that seemed to have more viewers than anybody else. And we did that around Thanksgiving. It was the Thanksgiving time of the year, and it was a good time to be talking about gratitude. But we made the comment that we had just gotten 23,000 subscribers at that Thanksgiving show. And 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 I thank you all so much for subscribing, because the day where I was so thrilled that we'd gotten to 23,000, that was like 53,000 people ago. And that, so we just got up to 76,000 viewers today. I mean, subscribers. And that just means so much because we take our podcast very seriously, but when we see that there's this whole, I picture like college football stadiums or professional. When I think how much is 70,000 people, and I can see something like the swamp at the University of Florida. It's like that's a lot of people, and there are a lot of needs. When I think about all those 73,000 individuals, and you are choosing to check us out. And I really want to thank you for that, and just reaffirm that we're always thinking about how to do this better. I guess how to uh, ultimately upgrade this podcast so it keeps getting more and more effective. But thank you for that. And so when I think about the ultimate upgrades, it's real easy to go back to begin with, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And when you're trans, that's very important to get yourself into a situation where you do have some stability with your shelter and your employment and your sense of safety, food and so forth, so that your basic needs are taken care of. When all of that comes together, you're at a pretty good survival mode. And I think what we're talking about today is how do you move from getting to reaching the survival mode where I think I'm going to make it. It's like, I've got a place to live. I've got food to eat. I think I'm going to make it. And then how does how do you grow into thriving? How do you actualize? Because at the very top of that pyramid is self-actualization with Maslow, and it doesn't happen until these other needs below you are pretty much stabilized. And so that I don't want to pretend like that's really, really super easy for everybody. Everybody can do that because it's a big world and a lot of different environments and situations. And so if you've gotten to the point where you've been surviving and now you're ready to thrive, that's the sort of thing we want to talk about tonight. Because when you talk about an ultimate upgrade and becoming the fullest version of yourself, that really spills over to everything. It's like how does the fullest version of yourself love? How does the fullest version of yourself go about creating things? How does the fullest version of yourself look with building relationships in your community and so forth? And so that idea of upgrade is really massive because it it's what does your life look like now in terms of becoming your fullest self. And I like something a lot that Jimmy mentioned the last time. It was how she believes that everything she is seeking her as well. And and with that kind of attitude, she's able to wake up every day with a sense of anticipation, that knowing that you're moving in the right direction, and what it why the universe wanted you here in the first place, why you were created, that is moving toward you at the same time. And so the idea is to keep evolving till you really step into the fullness of yourself. And it's not a thing that's defined by time. It's not like, okay, I'm surviving now. Let's see, the next 30 days, I want to be fully self-actualized. And it doesn't. It's like that becomes the lifelong journey after that, because it was, what does the fullest version of myself look like when it comes to my creativity? And I don't know the answer to that, but I know there's still a lot of things I want to do in terms of writing and presentations and things like that. I just really, I love this topic because it takes so much courage and persistence to decide to come out, to to stop living as everybody else expected you to live, and to start living in a way that is going to deliver you into the fullness of your life, uh, the best version of yourself that can exist. And oh my gosh, what a great journey that is. And so um, I wanted to be sure to mention that when we talk about the ultimate upgrade, it's a little bit different from getting an upgrade on the plane from coach to first class, because that'll end as soon as you land. That first class treatment. We're talking about something that goes with you to the end of your days here, and into the legacy you leave behind. So I love the topic, and that's my initial thoughts to introduce this segment, as far as my perspective on it. So Ella, back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this topic too. And I think that you just said something very, very important too. And that is when we talk about transform your life, we're talking about that you are the only person which has the responsibility for your own life.
Mhm.
Nobody else does. I don't mean that you should be, what do you call that, so self-centered that nothing else exists around you. That is not the case. Obviously, you live in a civilization, we live with other people. But what I mean is that nobody can force you to anything. Nobody can. It is your choice. It is your life. It is your person. And I think this is very, very important for transgender people, because when you're born, at least when I was born, and I knew that I was the way I was denied that life by my surroundings.
Mhm.
And I think that happens to so many people.
Yeah.
Now, it does not mean that you're not going to become a transgender person, because you are one. And it's a question of time when you actually, you know, you actually, you embrace it or you don't embrace it. But if you want to have really the ultimate upgrade. If you want to be free for yourself, you have to have the courage to embrace what is yours and what you are. And I have to tell you something. After my embracing of my own person and becoming what I've become, my life has been much better. Yeah, we had little difficulties, obviously. I have to say, in my case, I was very, 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 very lucky that I didn't have too many. Some people have got more than that, um, but you know what? I feel so much better, and I feel as well that the people which I have to communicate and do things, they regard me as, you know, a little bit better. And some of them know me for since my young age. It's not that they didn't know about my transformation. I mean, I don't go around and tell everybody I'm a trans. I do tell the people watch I want to that I'm a trans, um, but I'm a transgender person. But I mean, I don't go around like that everywhere because sometimes it's not really the right place to do it.
Mhm.
But in those places, they all know me from my previous self, so I don't have to. You know what I mean? But I find it very, very good as well that people that knew me from before accept me now because it means somehow that, we are acceptable. We are people. And we have got really what Bobby just told. We have the right to choose our own lives and not be, what do you call that, forced by other people to do it. It's your life. It's it's the only responsibility you have. You are born and you die. And during that time, you are a luckiest thing. It's a miracle that you're born. It's a miracle that you die too. If you take some of these religions, you go back to you know, to a place, but come on. It's like winning the lotto to be here. Enjoy it. It's the most incredible thing that ever happened. Enjoy it. Upgrade yourself. Be what you are supposed to be. Listen to your inner self. This is for me what is so important in life. So important about being transgender too, is that you embrace your own life the way you actually feel and you actually are. So this is my little point of view. So out to discussion.
As I'm listening to y'all, what I kind of figured out is the ultimate upgrade is a personal it's a personal level of existence. So to experience the ultimate upgrade is to experience life as the best version of ourself. And the best version of ourself is a moving target because we're always, if we live our lives in such a way that we're constantly improving, the the best version of ourselves is also always an arm's reach away. And it to live the best version of ourselves, to experience the ultimate upgrade, I feel isn't for the faint of heart. It's going to require tremendous effort, constant tremendous. The rent is due. If you're going to live the best version of yourself, the rent is due every day. And it requires a lot of effort, discipline. So our commitment to experiencing life in the best version of ourselves is going to require the equal or greater amount of effort required to achieve the result, because there's always going to be some inefficiency. So the effort, again, like I said earlier, the horsepower necessary to experience what we're talking about today, the ultimate upgrade, which is whatever it is, everyone's upgrade, ultimate upgrade is defined by their own self.
Correct.
You know, I can't determine what's the ultimate upgrade for anybody else other than myself. And that's partly why I'm here right now, and that fitness is a huge part of my life experience. And I came across a Instagram page a few days ago. It's some trans girls in Miami are offering personal training to other trans girls to achieve uh, the feminine body. And I know that there's some things that I am in charge of, and there's some things I'm not. I am in charge of how my legs look. I am in charge of how my booty looks. I am in charge of my waistline. I am in charge of the width of my shoulders. So these things I have control over. When I do legs in the gym, the energy and horsepower necessary to achieve the physique that I have is equally is a the gym is the only place on the planet that you can't BS yourself around. The gym is the only place on the planet where effort equals reward. In the outside world, you can BS your way to success. In the gym, you can't.
Hmm.
And so these are all the ultimate upgrade is going to have many ingredients and many different dosages of different ingredients. So I think it was Bobby or Raji or somebody was saying that for a transgender person to blossom as themselves an experiment.
Yeah.
You know, we go from a known to an unknown, and you got to figure things out by trial and error. What works, what doesn't work, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what feels right, what doesn't. But don't be afraid to try different things. And but one thing I will say, when we are at one with the universe, when we are at peace with ourselves, all roads lead to the same place. Ella.
Absolutely. Bobby, go ahead.
Oh, no, that just gives me so much to think about because it's exciting knowing that you are doing all you know how to become the best version of yourself. And there is in your mind, you have imagined a destination, but what I've discovered is every step of the way was always better than I imagined it. Um, and just the joy of experiencing that as realness. Um, there was a time, say for instance, you're transitioning, but you've never really traveled any place before. Say you left your home and you're going to jump on a plane and go overseas, or you're going to live full time, and you try to imagine what that's going to be like. It's like, okay, I've got to go through the airport and all this. I'm going to get there, and then I'm going to go to this place where I've got this kind of people I'm going to be seeing, and events I'm going to be attending, and things I'm going to be doing. And you've made that decision. You set that intention to grow, and the best version of yourself is going to be someone who travels well. Let's put it that way. And so you start learning how to travel well. And that takes a lot of effort and planning. But then once you get to your destination, it's so at least it's more glorious and more joyous than I imagined. It was like, oh yeah, we're going to start doing a lot more of this because this is really great. And so that's another thing about making those decisions to become the best version of yourself. You know the direction you want to go, but the gift is it's better than what you imagined. And um, I just really um, uh, I love that part. And of just traveling and the things I've experienced along the ways. And so that's just one aspect. I know that um, Jimmy was talking about trial and error learning and things like that. And uh, I've been an educator all of my life. And think about that environment. um, in the daytime, I'm in a school building, say a middle school or an elementary school or a high school. And there are hundreds of students and the faculty and the staff and you're a teacher and everybody knows who you are. And the same by the same token, to be a university president, I mean a university faculty, and everybody there, the president, the deans, everybody knows who you are, the students on campus and everything. And so here I've I've put myself into an environment where I am going to become the best version of myself, and I'm going to be fearless, and I'm going to be confident. I'm going to hold my head high. I am going to refuse to give anybody my consent to make me feel inferior. Don't even try anymore. Don't even try to do that anymore, because that is a power that I reserve strictly for myself. I am the one that defines myself. No one is going to succeed in making me feel inferior to them. And so just with that attitude and about the way I want to self-actualize myself in an environment where I'm interacting with hundreds of people every day, and to be accepted and to be loved, and want people to come hang out with you. Hey, let's go to the movies. Can we go out? Let's go get a cup of coffee. Or like, hey, let's take a trip someplace. Or when can you come see me? Those kind of things I didn't really anticipate. And that's what I'm talking about. Kind of the glory of self-actualizing is, and that ultimate upgrade is that you pick a destination and you set your intent and you make your best efforts to get there. And then when you meet that reality, when you tried to raise your vibration to meet a certain reality, at least in my experience, it's always been better than I imagined. And so it becomes this really self-rewarding thing. And so that's a reason I I I hope people that are watching this are asking themselves the question, what does self-actualization look like to me? What would my upgrade look like? And it's the sort of stuff that Jimmy was talking about. Well, what can I do to make my body look better? Or what can I do to have more confidence in my presentation? Or what can I do to be more fearless? Um, and those sorts of things. And so it just, they're all decisions. And the gift is seeing the consequences of those decisions. So that's why I'm glad we're talking about it, because this is the way we were created. And it's like you're going with your purpose. It's like you're not fighting it anymore. You're trying to evolve into who you were created to be. And it's such a gift. It's so wonderful. And so when people are watching and they're thinking like, what does that look like to me? Be bold. And say, I can do that. Break it up into little chunks, and um, uh, you know, um, Jimmy's talking about booty. Well, you might not have the booty you want tomorrow, but don't stop working on it. It'll come. It'll come.
I'm
Back
very
to you,
much
Al.
aware about this, but sometimes you have to take into consideration your age.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, some of us are not 20 years old anymore.
No, no,
And and
no.
and I mean, I have to tell you that I don't regret it. I know that I've somehow because I was born transgender. And believe me, that's my really faith, and my belief that I was born transgender. So
Mhm.
it took me a while until I got here. And and somehow I think the transgender people these days have got the opportunity to change earlier and to become really themselves much earlier than we are. But it was not a given to me when I was young. So, but it created other opportunities and created other experiences as well. It's not a loss. It's a gain. It gave to me a great life. It made to me a very, very interesting life. And every day is a challenge. And thank God there's a challenge every day, because like that I'm able to say I won today. And I have to tell you, today particularly, I really won a hell of a lot of things. I had a one hell of a day today, and I'm very happy about it. But that is the thing, it's one step at a time, and then your upgrade is there, and it's always continuing. It's not an end. Like you say in the plane, yes, on the arrive, it's in the end, and when you arrive to the other side of the flight, it's over. But on your life, it's a completely and continuous upgrade every day. As Jimmy said, every day you pay the rent, but every day you receive the rent too.
Mhm. You had an interesting way to talk about it. You reminded me of it about small daily wins
Yeah.
and how you have a list of things that you have already predetermined. If I get this done today, I've had a good day. And you talk about the importance of having just when the day is done, you did at least one small, you
Yeah.
have one small daily win. And I can't believe how much that image has really helped me. And just yesterday, I was just really exhausted. I've been traveling a whole lot. I just wanted to sleep and all this stuff. And I remember, oh shoot, I don't have my daily win yet. So I got to get up. But anyhow, those are the sort of things that you're talking about to just push yourself a little bit harder.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be a monumental win,
Yeah.
because don't worry, don't never forget. Every mountain is made of one stone at the time. One stone at a time.
Oh, mm.
Come on, girls, let's make the last round. So I think that we are really right on time. Um, Bobby, would you like to give a couple of words as the last round?
Oh. Yes, I just want to encourage people to really think about what that looks like to just really become determined and persistent to become the best version of yourself. And also knowing that you can't be really sure where that is going to lead you. And and I was just thinking of just an example of that is I've one of the things that I had to do just because of where I was and my situation is I had to learn how to speak truth to power because I had legislators that were trying to blow up everything helpful to the trans community and stuff that I had spent over 10 years building in my own city and with school systems and health departments and on and on. And, and I had to learn how to speak truth to power. And you just never know where those episodes are going to lead because back during the pandemic, I was working with some people to create some public service announcements trying to get a bill to ban conversion therapy through our General Assembly. And so we were working on these public service announcements. So what? Pandemic is what, like 5 years ago now? Somebody that I worked with on that 5 years ago remembered me and said, "Hey, I'm working for the Trevor Project now, and we're doing this big documentary on conversion therapy, and I want you to please contact the casting people because I want you to be in it. I think you're going to be. And it's like, okay. And they're offering to, fly me to Los Angeles for a couple of days and pay me really well and all of this stuff. And the point I want to make is I never saw that coming. I never saw that coming. All I did was decide I have to learn how to speak truth to power
Yeah.
and and to start doing that. And I couldn't know that that was going to evolve into plane tickets to Los Angeles, but here we are. So that's the other thing I really want to encourage people is like your life is an adventure and get all of the adventure you can. So, well, back to you, Ella. So,
I think Jimmy left. She had to take, I think, get her
oh, yeah.
daughter. Okay. Um, my last words is thank you very much for watching Transgurus. I hope to see you next week again. We'll be here again next week, and namaste. Enjoy. Have a
Okay.
beautiful weekend. Enjoy the 4th of July if you are if it's before that. And bye everybody. Bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.